I was very curious what all the elite affixes are doing and how you can avoid these. And I will go through all of the durations, the cooldowns, and I'm going to explain solutions that you should be doing whenever you encounter one of the affixes. And I will also have a Google Doc ready for you guys where you can read up on all of the stuff that we are going through to the video, which will be linked down in the description below. Now for the first affix we have Chilling Winds, and that one is going to summon a wall like we could have seen here, which is going to chill the player while you are running through it, and it's also going to slow your projectiles that pass the wall. So if you would be standing here and would be shooting at the impaler right here through the wall with a penetrating shot, for example, the projectile will be slowed, but will still do the normal damage. These walls also have a duration of 7 seconds, and the cooldown between the Ice Wall casts or Chilling Wind casts is going to be 9 seconds exactly. Now, I really think that this isn't a very big problem for ranged, but I think for melees, this can get very dangerous very quickly. If you are in tight corridors and you have the Chilling Wind walls stacked right next to each other, so you are getting the chill effect very quickly stacked on top of you. And the next one is going to be Cold Enchanted, and as you can see, the Bile Fiend is casting his auto attack at us, and whenever I am being hit here, I am going to be chilled for a little bit and will leave a little splash zone below my character. And if I'm going to be hit quite often, which is not going to happen with the Bile Fiend because his attack speed is very low, but if I would be hit quite often, I could also be frozen, obviously, because it's a chill effect. And the damage the damage is quite moderate. You still feel it, but it's not going to one-shot you or anything. I don't think it's a big problem for either melee or ranged, because you could just dodge the projectile and therefore make the affix basically non-existent. Next up, we have the damage resistance aura that you can see with the up arrow right here, which is going to be spread to all the other nearby mobs. And this one is not being, or is not coming from an elite, but much rather it is coming from a normal trash mob, which you can very quickly spot by these purple or pink glow on the character, and obviously on the up arrow below the HP bar of the mob. And this damage resistance aura is going to increase the armor of everyone that is of all the enemies that are afflicted by it. And as you can see here, the normal mobs that are affected by the aura almost take 0 damage, but the aura giver, in this case the Mother's Herald, is taking normal damage. So my solution here is instantly focus down the Mother's Herald to be able to get rid of the aura on all the other mobs. And what's really important here is that the aura can also spread to elite enemies, which makes them very, very tanky. So if you see the up arrow symbol or the shield symbol on elites, make sure to quickly identify the up arrow guy, focus it down, and then you will have a very easy time decimating the mob pack. As you can see here, the aura is gone and everything is just dying left and right. And next up, we will have the Electrified Obelisks that you can already see on screen here, which are going to spawn in an area around the mob and are going to be connected by these lightning strikes going from one obelisk to the other obelisk, which are going to deal light damage to you whenever you are hit by these. And what's also important here is that when you are close to one of these obelisks, you are also taking damage without needing to be struck by the lightning that is connecting the obelisk. So don't be too close between 2 or 3 obelisks, because that damage can ramp up rather quickly and can become dangerous. But apart from that, Electrified Obelisks is not really an affix that you should fear. The next affix on my list is the explosive one, and as you can see right here, it is going to spawn a fiery orb that is targetable, which is going to explode in a radius if it remains untouched by you. So you can see the big radius already around it. There's two solutions to this. You either kill the fiery orb, which is not really a big problem because the health is rather low, or you just outrange it by not being inside the red zone around here, effectively not making it a dangerous affix. Although if you don't really pay attention to this, this can become quite dangerous because the damage of the fiery orb explosion is quite high. So definitely keep an eye out for it during combat. Either kill it very quickly or outrange it. And we stay with the fire type. Next up is Fire Enchanted. And as you can already see right here, and I'm very sure you guys have already remembered this one because it appears quite often and it's quite memorable. So you can see here that the Elite is casting its fire in 3 different directions, and these will always try to home in on you. So if I would be standing here, you can see it also instantly starts channeling to my previous position. So if I would remain here and the next cast of the Fire Enchanted is going to happen, these triangle, not all of them, just one, is going to aim towards me and the wave is going to hit me. But not enough. Whenever you have dodged all the fire waves, basically, you are on top of that going to kill the mob, and then you will see that it's going to keep casting the fire waves and is on top of that going to explode in a rather small radius. The fire waves don't deal as much damage, but the explosion can definitely hurt you quite a lot. So while you are dodging the fire explosion, keep dodging the fire waves and you are golden with the Fire Enchanted affix. The next affix, as you can see on the screen right here, is not fire anymore. We are now here with ice, or frozen as the name implies. Is going to chill and freeze you whenever you are going to be hit by these explosions. They are quite easy to dodge and they are also quite visible. So that's really not a big factor. But as you can see, if these spawn very close to each other or very close to your character, they can get very dangerous really quickly, especially if your build doesn't have an unstoppable effect or you have just used it. So definitely make sure to keep an eye out for the frozen affix and save one of your unstoppable effects just in case you might get frozen here and die during your CC. Next up is the Lightning Enchanted affix, and as you can see right here, the Impaler doesn't do anything. And only when you hit the Elite that has the Lightning Enchanted affix, only then you are going to encounter these little zappy balls that are spawning in rather random places, but they are obviously trying to be near you and then go out and spiral out with, again, random directions. These can be rather overwhelming when you are in a party and everyone is hitting the Lightning Enchanted mob, therefore spawning a lot of Lightning Enchanted orbs. Balls don't really deal that much damage, but can be quite overwhelming if they pair up with other affixes or you have multiple Lightning Enchanted mobs in one pack. Next up, we're going back to fire with Mortar. And as you can see on the screen right here, you are going to encounter lobbed fireballs, which have a travel time, which are going to be dealing a lot of damage when you stand in only one of the zones. But as you can see here, they can overlap. And if you would stand, let's say somewhere around here, you would probably get one shot, because obviously the damage in this very zone, in the overlapping zone, is going to stack and be basically tripled. So definitely put on your dodging shoes right here whenever you see the Mortar affix, and you can also stay very, very close to the mob and kill it very fast, with the Mortar affix not really being a big problem because of the travel time that is included. And next affix, same clip. As you can see right here, it also has the Multishot affix, and you can see normally the High Priestesses would only shoot one of these projectiles, but due to the Multishot affix, it's shooting 2. It can be between 2 and 3. I have not found a a rule for this yet, but sometimes they shoot 3, sometimes they shoot 2. I think it's mob type dependent. Another example for Multishot is the Succubus here, and you can see usually the Succubus would shoot one of these drifting shade-like things, but this time it shoots 3 projectiles, and therefore you can see there's going to be a little bit of alternating stuff from mob type to mob. Not so dangerous affix, so yeah, almost ignore this one. Melees might have a little bit harder time than ranged on this affix, but it's still not going to be very dangerous. And next up is the Plaguebearer affix, and as you can see on the screen already, this guy also has another affix, which we go into after this one. But let's focus on the Plaguebearer affix, which is this symbol right here. And you can spot it on the Elite model. It has those little poison bubbles on top of it. And that's also a really nice indicator for the Plaguebearer affix. And as you might already know, on kill, you are going to spawn such a void zone or a poison zone right here that is dangerous to stand in because it's going to trigger an on-death explosion. What's also really important with the Plaguebearer affix is that the Plaguebearer affix can spread when something is hit in the Plaguebearer on-death explosion. Unfortunately, I don't have a clip ready, but when you trigger the on-death explosion and you see the radius on the ground from killing the affected enemy. Now, whenever another mob would be hit with the Plaguebearer on death explosion, it would also get the Plaguebearer affix, basically spreading the Plaguebearer affix also on normal mobs. It doesn't even have to be an elite. It can go on to normal mobs, but it has to be first in the on-death explosion, and that spreading can go on and on and on and on. So Plaguebearer, not a one-time thing. You definitely have to pay a lot of attention when you encounter this affix, especially on hardcore, because my character died to exactly that thing on level 83 in hardcore. That one was very painful, actually. Now, next affix is going to be Poison Enchanted. And Poison Enchanted, you can see that the Impaler, not the Succubus, has the affix. And whenever the Impaler hits me with his spear, you can see that I'm spawning a poison zone under me, right? Every time the Impaler hits, well, I dodged that one, unfortunately, but every time the Impaler hits, you will spawn a void zone below you. So whenever you are able to dodge the auto attacks of the Poison Enchanted mob, that affix is basically non-existent. Next up is Shadow Enchanted, and you can see that this elite Siege Master Rurik has the Shadow Enchanted affix, and the affix is going to spawn another shadow right next to you or the enemy, which is trying to auto-attack you as well. It has a little bit of a cooldown, but these clones also disappear. So you can see right here, it spawned 2 additional clones, which are trying to attack you, but cannot move. Now the next one, Shocklands, is very easy to identify. And I'm quite sure everyone has encountered that one and spotted it and already knows the symbol for it, because I think it's very easy to remember. And as you can see right here, it's a fixed ball with a spinning lightning spear around it, which does light damage. Especially if you get caught by like 1 or 2, you can see my life is slowly dripping down, even though I'm being hit by 2 to 3 orbs. So the damage is not really high, but it can definitely be a problem in very small corridors. But usually that one isn't really that big of a problem. Next up is the Summoner affix, and as you can see, the Shaman has that little symbol. And after a little bit of time, he is going to summon these blood thingies and is going to summon 2 enemies, and these will give you experience when you kill these. And on top of that, this has a 20-second cooldown and doesn't really deal that much damage to you, is really not a big factor. And another very visually easy to spot affix is Suppressor, and I am quite sure all of the ranged players will have remembered this one very easily, and all the melee players are laughing at the ranged players, because this zone is going to keep out all of the projectiles that are coming from outside. So the solution to this is going inside the circle and killing the Suppressor mob very, very quickly. As a melee, that is absolutely no problem to because you are going to be very tanky innately, and as a range, there might be a little bit of a problem because you actually have to get up close and personal to kill the suppressor mob and then very quickly get out. For example, when I was playing Penshot, I wasn't really that tanky, so all these suppressor mobs were quite a lot of a problem for me. I had to build 3 combo points, get inside, Penshot, get out very quickly to try to not get meleeed that often. And it's complete night and day difference for melees. And in the same clip, you can see the teleport affix. And it's actually very funny as a melee because they just teleport away from you and then start walking towards you. This is really not an affix at all, I think, because it deals very slight damage here in the getaway animation, basically. And then they're away from you. I think as a melee, it's sometimes very weird when they go into the next room or they go outside of your line of sight and then start walking back towards you. So that's really not that big of an issue for melee players, but range players have to be cautious here because if a hard-hitting melee mob is teleporting right on top of you, that might actually hurt. As you can see, the Snorri Revenant has the Tempest affix, and with a 13-second cooldown, he is going to summon these ice shields or ice shards that are going to try and pull you towards the elite. So definitely dodge these, and I think they are not really that big of a deal, especially with a high cooldown of 13 seconds. Terrifying is up next, and as you can already see around here, they will summon 2 to 3 terrifying zones, which are going to fear you for 2 seconds if you are going to get caught by these. And I think these 2 are, because I was only level 43 when I was filming this, above in World Tier 3 and in World Tier 4. It is going to be always 3 of these zones, and again, if you're caught in these, you're going to be feared for 2 seconds, and I don't really think it's that big of a problem, but they can really overwhelm if a lot of other stuff is going on the screen. Vampiric was one of the affix that I really didn't understand until I made this video. And as you can see right here, basically nothing is happening on the screen right now. But now that the Marauder has cast the Vampiric spell, you can see that he is glowing red. And this means that the next auto attack is going to heal up the elite, and that is really only limited to just 1 attack, because as you can see right here, when the Marauder is going to continue attacking, it is not going to leech life, but as soon as the Vampiric effect is going to be cast again, you can see that the life leech is going to happen once more. And one of the most funny affixes, if you ask me, is the Waller affix, which is going to summon a U-shaped wall around you, which one of these walls can be targeted by you. And when you kill the killable wall, all the other walls are also going to disappear. So you can see right here, this right wall has an HP bar, it's called wall. You target this one, after you defeat this, all the others are gone as well. I really hope that this video was helpful to you and that you now understand some of the affixes that you didn't know before. And I will link down in the description below to this document right here, so you can always have a quick look. And yeah, if you like content similar to this, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time.